Hello, Cancer. Welcome to Dove and Serpent Tarot. My name is Paul. If there is anything you would like me to pray over or meditate upon or send positive energy toward, please let me know. Now, this is a reading for Cancer for the week of September 28th through October 4th. Try to be open and receptive to whatever may come through during our time together. I am merely the messenger. And I ask you to connect directly with each of these cards and use your own intuition to take you beyond the details that I provide. And remember, Cancer, that the most important part of any tarot reading is you. Two of Wands, this is a card of control. This is a card of claiming your domain, right? The ability to make conscious, intentional decisions about what we're doing in our life right now. I feel like this is giving you a sort of steady, decisive energy. This is giving you a sense of control over your life. Okay, so really this card wants you to sort of take ownership of those things in life that you can control. What can you do in your life this week to have a better experience, to be more productive, to be maybe slow down more? Sometimes the Two of Wands is a big red X, kind of saying stop, slow down. Maybe this is kind of a message to be a little bit more gentle with yourself, to take smaller, easier steps, okay, but to be decisive and to be bold and to be kind of be in your power, be in your energy. Yeah. This is a card that's saying, we need to let go of everything that we can't control, things that are not within our sphere of influence. But those things that are, I think we need to take a little bit more, put a little bit more attention on those things. So this is a week of sort of knowing what to start and what to stop in your life. Okay? Taking control of your life and being assertive and being bold and being able to say no and being able to choose things for the right reasons. Okay? Some of you may be dealing with a lot of demands being put on you. This then, definitely becomes a card of no. Okay? Learning how to say no. And learning how to do it in a way that is effective, but also kind. I feel like there's a harshness in this card. It's Mars and Aries, right? So there could be a little bit of harshness here, and I think we need to be able to say no, but in a gentle way. We need to be very disciplined in our lives, and we need to be strict, but we can do so in a gentle way. I feel like this is kind of a card for you that's saying we've got to be gentle with ourselves. We don't want to force ourselves to do things, but we want to guide gently our steps forward here. Let's put this card into a little bit of context, and let's see what's going on in your life. We have a Queen of Wands, yeah. Ace of Pentacles, Seven of Swords, Five of Swords, the Empress. Very nice. Very, very good. Ace of Swords, Wheel of Fortune, Princess of Pentacles, and a Five of Wands. Yeah, what we're trying to do is nudge our life slowly, guide our steps so that we can fulfill our potential. Now, for some of you, this is going to be your career type stuff. Some of it's going to be personal development. Some of this is going to be your physical fitness, your health and well-being, right? Or some of you, this is going to be like financial stuff. This is going to be relationships, okay? The Empress could be a whole lot of love, okay? And I feel like you're being told to be gentle with yourself, not to be so harsh. There is the need for control. There is the need for decisive action and taking very deliberate steps, but do so in a way that's kind, okay? It's kind of like, more is not always best. Sometimes less is more. Sometimes saying no to certain things is a way of protecting your energy. Sometimes rest will give you strength, And sometimes being very kind to yourself is going to motivate you to make the progress that you want to make. It's kind of like you can make more progress with the carrot than you do with the stick. Yeah. Let's select the mystery card, bonus card, confirmation card. This is a random card from the Smith Waite Tarot. This is the factor infinite and unknown. We're going to set it over here with Mr. Tao, the yin-yang duck, right on top. We're not going to name the eternal name until the very end of the reading. It will tie everything together. It will give us the confirmation that we need at the end of the reading. If at any point during this message you feel like you might know what that card might be, put your prediction in the comments down below the video now as we look around the room. Two majors, the Empress and the Wheel of Fortune. I feel like kindness, gentleness, self-care, being compassionate, being welcoming, being loving, being sort of empathic, that's going to lead to growth. Okay? You grow through this gentle, nurturing energy. That's how things are going to expand in your life. That is what is going to activate the progress in your life, whatever you're doing right now in your life. Gentle guidance rather than bossiness, firmness, aggressive, abrasive, kind of strict, ruling with the carrot rather than with the stick. Yeah. And that's our Empress and our Wheel of Fortune. We got fire, a lot of fire. What we don't have is the water. We have air, earth, and earth. So why is there no water? Well, because that's exactly what we need to move into. That's what we need. Since there's no water here, we need the water. We need the replenishment. We need the rejuvenation. We need to treat ourselves kindly. Now, for some of you, this is going to be more about how you're dealing with other people in your life. A Two of Wands is sometimes there's a conflict. Okay, sometimes it's that you're trying to get your way, right? You're trying to succeed at something. You're trying to have things work out in your favor, whether we're at work, at home, at school, it doesn't matter. This is how you are guiding other people. Maybe you're a boss, maybe you're a leader somewhere. This is kind of asking you, like, what kind of leader are you going to be? Maybe asking you to step up and take a leadership role. Some of you, this is going to be a need to step up and be bold, but you don't want to be a leader that just is, nobody likes, right? So it's sort of, adding on this idea of, like, we don't want to just be all business, all serious, all strict, all discipline. That's a little too hardcore, So it's about, like, guiding, nudging, gently pushing, gently influencing things rather than forcing things with an iron fist. Okay, that's the Two of Wands. I feel that maybe there is somebody in your life that you're trying to sort of motivate, or you're trying to convince, or you're trying to, it might be a competition. Maybe there's somebody at work and you're both kind of, there's this class. I feel like you're butting heads with somebody. Okay, and I think you're going to succeed in this through your gentle, nurturing, caring, loving energy, kindness rather than harshness and abrasiveness or aggression. Okay, that's the message here. The Queen of Wands is somebody that is stepping into a leadership role, but is realizing that the methods that used to work in the past don't always work anymore. Learning from the past is not the strong quality of the Queen of Wands. The Queen of Wands tends to forget the past very, very quickly and just rush forward again. And doing that, we sort of sometimes don't learn the lesson from the past. Okay? So in other words, the cards are telling you, don't just keep banging your head against the same wall. We need to find a different strategy. Okay? We need to be gentle. Maybe this is about motivating yourself. Maybe it's just like you have these goals in life, but can't seem to get yourself started. Can't seem to get going and keep it going. So you end up like getting very strict with yourself and really like setting these really serious hardcore rules for yourself and all this stuff. And I think that's not sustainable either. I think the message here is gentle. We're going to go forward. We're going to lead. We're going to get our goal. We're going to, fulfill our wish, accomplish our goals, and manifest our dream. But we got to do so in a gentle way. This is maybe too harsh. Okay? This is maybe somebody that could be thinking, well, if a little bit didn't work, I guess I just got to give them more, If you don't like, if you don't like 1 hour of homework, here's 2. And it's almost like the severity of it is kind of, it's too much. This might be also representing for some of you, this could be a Sagittarius person in your life that you might be butting heads with. And the idea there is that you don't need to match them with their same energy. You don't have to be as harsh or as severe as they are. Okay? You can find a better way to navigate this situation that's going to be easier for you and is still going to get the outcome that you want. Also, this card, I think, is saying that we don't have to be like our predecessor. Okay? That if this is, for instance, we don't have to be the way our parents were. We don't have to, we don't have to act the same way or lead the same way as the last person that did. Okay? We don't have to be like the people that came before in whatever situation you're in now. I think that this is somebody that maybe needs a little bit of rest, right? This is a concentration of fire energy. I think Spirit is saying that, your body wants to kind of slow down. That your life right now, whether this is about you and your motivation or about how you're motivating other people or how you're leading other people, really is going to respond more to kindness than to severity. Okay? The Ace of Pentacles is the next step. It's kind of like when you're trying to get a dog or a horse to move. You can't push the horse, You got to convince the horse. The horse has to want to take another step. Do you know what I mean? And I feel like that's the method now. It's not about just forcing something. It's about gently guiding it, gently influencing it. Whatever you're doing, if this is about you trying to get the creative flow going again, or get a relationship going or something like this, it's not about trying to force anything. It's about gently guiding it. Like if you're trying to do a physical fitness, routine, you can't just force yourself to do it right now. I think you need to figure out how to make yourself want to do it. Okay? We need the water energy. The water is going to be the way forward for you now, not the fire. Okay, too much fire is going to destroy things. You're going to burn it out. You're going to force yourself to do something, and maybe you'll do it for a week or two, but then you're just going to say, it's too much. Okay, you got to ease into it. You got to be gentle. You got to guide yourself, but most of all, you have to make sure that you want to do it. So whatever you're trying to do in life right now, I think you know what it is. I don't think it's anything brand new. I feel like it's already something that you tried to do before, and it didn't really work out so well. Now you're kind of trying it again. But this time, go the gentle water route, okay? Because it's you have to make sure that you stay interested. If it's a physical health thing or exercise or something like that, you have to make it fun. You have to make it enjoyable. You have to make yourself want to do the next thing. Okay, because it feels good, or because it's not so demanding. Sometimes the Queen of Wands is somebody that really demands more than they should of other people or of themselves. Expecting way too much, and it's saying maybe lower expectations. Just say, hey, if I do one push-up today, that's a win. Because we realize that we ease into something gently, it's going to take roots. It's going to really take hold. And we're going to be more likely to sustain it over the long term. Okay? And so that Ace of Pentacles is that is the next step that we're trying to take. And to me, it feels like it's supposed to be a gentle step. Yeah. And I think that this is also talking about those basic resources for you: water, shelter, food, and fire. Okay? That you need to make sure that you are that you're meeting kind of a minimum requirement of certain things in your life. The harshness of the fire is someone who is like maybe prone to really extreme, diets or extreme like exercise protocols, or really harsh discipline, being very strict with yourself, and not allowing any kind of slack or any kind of leeway. But that might make things really difficult for you right now. Okay, so one thing that you can do this week is one gentle act of care, whether it's self-care or caring for somebody else. It's kind of like give somebody the carrot, reward yourself, treat yourself to something as a reward for the hard work, and kind of like saying, look, you did really, really good this week. Here's a reward. Here's some kind of a token or a symbol of your achievement. Okay, I think that it's a way of gently motivating ourselves. Okay, and just one thing, not a huge thing, but give yourself some kind of a treat. Give yourself, some kind of a reward. Yeah, the Seven of Swords back here is a card of distraction. It's a card really of like, maybe for some of you, there's been many pathways. You've tried many different avenues to get something done. Okay? And maybe you're to the point now where it's just like, the only thing I can think of is to just force it in. We've tried this way, we've tried that path, we've tried that strategy, I've tried this diet, nothing works, right? And so we kind of think that maybe I just need something more extreme. Maybe I just need to go harder. Maybe just having more severity. Right? We have the five. The five. Five is all a Mars energy. The number 5 is the martial number. And Mars is that very severe energy. Maybe that's not the way forward. Maybe the way forward is Empress. Maybe the way forward is gentle. The way forward is comforting. The way forward is steady, but loving and nurturing. Protecting something, right? Rather than just kind of forcing our way through it, we're easing it. We're gently going into it. The Seven of Swords is also, to me, it feels like the distractions can lead to frustration when you're trying to do something, okay? And when you get distracted by other people or other desires, you get distracted by, your phone or whatever it is. You get different thoughts. It's kind of hard to concentrate. We start to feel then like we kind of get angry with ourselves. We get frustrated. And so we say, okay, well then, you know what? I'm just going to sit in an empty room with nothing but me and my homework, and I'm going to do my homework. We feel like if we make the conditions more strict, we'll be more likely to accomplish something. And yeah, maybe that would work. Take away all distractions. Just sit in an empty room with just blank walls and no sound, and it's just you and your homework, and that's it. And you got to do it, right? Yeah, it's very severe. It's very strict. Yeah, and that might work for a time, but I don't think it's going to work for the long term. So this Empress again is kind of proving to be the way forward, because this would be kind of, easy steps, gentle steps, small steps, and praise. This is maybe a reward versus punishment system, okay? And when you're training yourself or you're training somebody else or whatever it is, you're training a dog or you're trying to accomplish some goals here. It may be that we have small expectations and then we get big reward, big praise. Rather than punishing the mistakes, maybe you're rewarding the small successes. It sounds silly, but it's just like, you set yourself up for these little wins. You say, okay, I'm going to get out of bed today at 6. Hey, it's 6 o'clock, I got out of bed. Pat yourself on the back. Celebrate. Say good, kind things to yourself, because that's important. That's going to reinforce you and say, it feels good. Not a big deal, right? I got out of bed today. Well, that's a win. Set yourself up for the wins by praising everything, every win you have. Now, of course, maybe then you're going to spoil yourself or whatever, but I feel like you've tried other tactics, and this is the one that's going to be, this is like the experiment for the week. Okay? Give yourself some very positive reinforcement for every little win you can. And see how it builds up, see how it starts stacking up with that wheel of fortune, expanding, growing, invoking the good luck. The wheel's going to start turning in your favor. Because if what you're doing is punishing mistakes, well then everything's going to get smaller, everything's going to contract. Okay? That's not going to help. That you may be minimizing, mistakes and things, but it's not a strategy that's going to continue very long. So I think that you've tried the harsh tactics. Now it's a time for that gentleness. The Five of Swords is a card about doubt. It's a card about confusion. This is how you talk to yourself. Okay? This is how you speak to yourself. And again, there's this kind of gentle energy that's being advocated, because this is sometimes harsh self-criticism. Okay? Some of you may be realizing that I don't talk to myself very kindly all the time. Maybe you're realizing that you respond better to positive feedback, positive reinforcement, okay, and praise than you do toward being admonished or being criticized. You're not motivated by that. The Cancer, yeah, it makes sense. I don't think you're very motivated by someone that's coming in and yelling at you and telling you how much you suck and how much you're doing things wrong. And no, I think you respond more to pointing out the things that are going well, pointing out the things that are going right and what you're good at and what you're working on and what's succeeding and what's working, and being uplifted for that one step that you took today. So this week, just as an experiment, try it. Try ignoring the bad stuff, ignoring the mistakes, whether it's about you, about somebody else, about the dog, about the kids, whatever, about strangers, ignoring all of the unwanted behavior, and instead focusing on the positive, the good behavior, and praising that. Just as an experiment, and see how your experience of life changes, to see how your life responds to you. Okay? And that really is our Empress energy. Because I feel like you're responsible for something with that Empress energy. There's something that you are taking care of. There's something that you're trying to nurture and grow. It's kind of the garden. It's not about, it's not about what we can trim off and what we can pull out and what we can remove, but it's about what we nurture it with, about giving it enough sunlight and giving it the water it wants and really praising it and loving it, and not saying you're a bad little tomato plant because you didn't grow enough tomatoes yesterday. And so it makes sense that we're going to want to feed something of what it really needs for it to grow. Okay? I think that some of you have gone through a season of removal, getting rid of things that shouldn't be there. You've done the weeding of the garden. Now it's a time to nurture what's there. It's not a time of removal. It's a time of tending to what is left and making it grow by giving it love. The Empress feeds something from its own blood, sweat, and tears, because you care about something and you're going to want to give to it and not take away from it, not say, okay, well, you didn't behave very well, so I'm taking away your toy. It's saying, okay, you did something very, very kind or very productive, or you did something good, and here's a reward. And maybe that reward punishment system is antiquated or outdated. I don't know. I imagine it probably is. But I think if we're talking about your own self-discipline, I think it's very important right now that you praise yourself, that you give yourself the love, that you treat yourself kindly. And I think this week we try that. Okay? You give yourself kind of the reward for every step that you take toward your goal this week. Okay? And then, of course, you want to please yourself, right? So you're going to keep doing it. And maybe that doesn't work so well anymore for kids. I'm definitely not an expert at raising kids. I got one daughter, she's 5. I think I'm doing an okay job, but I don't know. But at least for ourselves, I don't think we respond to that negative internal dialogue We got to change the way we talk to ourselves, change the way we treat ourselves. Okay, I want to do quickly a language of flowers affirmation card. That the 7 and the 5 of swords is getting to me because I kind of feel like we get angry with ourselves every time we get distracted. What if we flip that around and instead we praise ourselves every time we stay on task? Renewal, time to begin again, stronger and better. Okay, yeah, so I feel that this is something that we've sort of tried. We're coming back and we're applying ourselves to something again. And I feel that we're trying to change our strategy a little bit because it just didn't, the way we were doing it before didn't work. That's why there's this renewal. Okay, we're coming at it again. It's not the first time we've tried to grow the garden. Yeah. The Ace of Swords here is a card of clarity. It's a card of truth. It's a card of being inspired. I think a lot of you you're sort of, you're getting a bright idea. This is kind of a light bulb on the top of your head, saying, I know what would work. What if I'm kind to myself? Maybe that would work. And I think it feels almost like a novel thing. And I think Cancer, like some of you may be kind of shaking you may be nodding your head saying, yeah, never thought of that one. Because I feel that Cancers sometimes could be, on occasion, a little bit harsh with themselves, a little bit judgmental, a little bit critical of their own behaviors and their own progress. Okay, so it may feel like it's a novel idea. I'm going to just celebrate the wins. I'm going to praise myself for the good things. I'm going to be nice to myself. I'm going to ignore the failures, learn from them, but don't punish yourself for those failures. Basically, right? Don't punish yourself, but praise yourself for the steps that you do take. You know, instead of looking at your day and thinking, the whole day was just, I failed at everything. Everything went terrible. Okay, fine. Instead of doing that, look at your day and think, what went right? Oh, well, I did that. I was good at that thing. I like the way that went down. I feel like I did a good thing over here. Focus on that. Celebrate that. Okay? And if you're dealing with somebody at work or at home or at school who's pushing back against you or is resisting your influence a little bit, treat them with kindness. Be the servant leader and see how it works out. Okay? The Wheel of Fortune is growth, expansion. It is good luck. I think that there's a big turnaround for you. I think what has been frustrated and what hasn't been working in the past recently, right, it's going to start working again because of this switch over to this Empress mode. Instead of Emperor mode, right, with the Mars and Aries, instead of being a very strict emperor, you're going to be a very firm and gentle but assertive empress. And it's going to lead to a lot of growth. I think Spirit is going to send the right people, places, and things to you on your path when and where you need them. And I think that you have to deal with these things in a gentle and nurturing way, and they will work for you, they will work with you, and they will help you to grow, whether these are people or even other kinds of resources. Okay? I think that there is a specific omen or sign, symbol, or synchronicity that's going to be occurring to you this week. So look out for a big sign. I feel like it's going to be kind of like, it's going to be obvious. It's going to be like a neon sign, right? It's going to be like you say, Spirit, give me a sign. And then someone comes by and gives you like a sign, gives you like literally like a billboard, kind of like, it's going to be something uncanny, something obvious and almost comical is what I'm feeling. And I think that it's important that you look around for that because it's going to be an indication that you're doing the right thing and things are going in the right direction. Okay? I think there's also going to be, through this new approach, this gentle kindness kind of leadership approach, you're going to be given an opportunity for something bigger. Whether it's a promotion or someone decides to let you in on a secret or let you in on some kind of inside information about a new opportunity or a job, or it gives you a lead on something, right? It may be like a sale, it may be like a new client or a customer, it may be just some a good recommendation for something that you could try for an opportunity, okay? So be on the lookout for that. I think this week is going to be a big sign from the universe here. The Princess of Pentacles is all about the resources. It's all about the physical environment. To me, this is kind of like representing your physical energy, your body, and your resources around you, okay? And I think really it's the message that's saying treat yourself kindly. Okay, if you want yourself to grow into who you're meant to become, you have to sort of mother yourself, you know? And I kind of feel that's what's going on here, because this is you, but this is also you. And the Princess of Pentacles is that card that is eventually, at some point in its evolution, it will become the Empress, okay? This might literally be, some of you are dealing with your kids. Okay, that's an obvious kind of flow here. Some of you are dealing with kids. Some of you are dealing with people that act like kids. Some of you are dealing with people at work, at home, or at school that seem immature and seem like they are only responding to, the reward and punishment sort of system, of raising kids. It may feel like you're the manager at work, and it may feel like you're dealing with a bunch of children, okay? Literally, yeah. So I feel that it's kind of like, it's kind of that feeling like you kind of have to mother people a little bit. You can't just go in and be all serious and say, this is what we're doing today. Everybody get their assignments and go, go, go. It's kind of like we got to ease into it. We got to be, how's everybody going? How was your weekend? Oh, how are the kids, What do you say we get to work on our projects today? It's almost like you have to be kind of like a kindergarten teacher, That's kind of what I'm feeling here. And that's the tactic. And even with ourselves, sometimes I realize that I can't just be all serious and strict and mature with myself. Sometimes I got to treat myself like a kid. Sometimes I have to say, well, look, Paul, if you just get your work done, then you can go lay down. You can go have a hot bath. You can go take a bubble bath with a burrito and a bowl of ice cream. And I think, oh, okay, yeah. I mean, sometimes we need that dialogue with ourselves. We can't just say, I'm doing it, and if I don't do it, I'm going to punish myself. No, this isn't self-punishment day. This isn't self-punishment week, okay? This is self-care, this is nurturing, this is gently guiding things in the direction that we want them to go. It doesn't matter what this is for you, but this is the energy that is being activated for this week. The Five of Wands at the end is the dynamics. It is the accelerator of the car. To me, that is Saturn in Leo. Saturn in Leo, to me, is a very appropriate energy now, because Saturn is holding back, pulling back, restricting. And of course, Leo is that kind of, is that creative energy, that appetite. It is the, to me, it's the strength, right? So this is like, we're showing our strength by not showing our strength. We don't have to bare our teeth and purse our lips and squint to show our strength, to show how we feel, That sometimes the strongest person is the one that can let a lot of things go and can focus on the highlights rather than the shadows. Because there's always going to be shadows, okay? And sometimes we focus on the shadows frustrate us, they scare us, we don't like them. The shadows mean we're not making progress, the shadows mean failure, the shadows mean danger. And so we respond to the shadows by getting angry, we get frustrated, we get frantic, we get rushed, we get this urgency. That's not necessarily strength, that might be the opposite of strength. Sometimes strength is the ability to say, okay, there's a lot of shadows here. What are the highlights? Okay, so this week, focus on the highlights, not the shadows. Use those highlights to encourage more of them. You get the highlights, you focus on the highlights, people are going to say, ooh, I'm getting attention for the highlights, I'm going to do more of those. Okay, I think that in the past, you focused more on the shadows, on the fly. I'm picturing like a football team. I don't watch football really, but thinking of like a American football team. And it's halftime, and the coach is like, okay, that first half sucked. This is what all of you did wrong. I'm pointing out this is the mistake you made, this is the mistake you made, you made. You all made a lot of mistakes. That's someone who's scared. They're afraid of like losing that game, okay? And those players are just mad and they're frustrated and they're feeling discouraged and they're probably not going to, the second half probably isn't going to go very well. Or there's the coach that says, hey, okay, that was a rough first half. That was a great catch you made. And that kick, that block, that tackle, whatever the heck you guys did, that was great. Let's do more of that second half, okay? Come on, we could do it. And so we're more motivated. And I think that really shows the strength, okay? Showing your strength doesn't always mean being louder or more aggressive or more abrasive. Sometimes the gentleness is the show of strength. It's the servant leadership. It's the water that is sort of carrying everything to the goal rather than the fire having to force and push and demand everything. The water is just kind of like people want to follow you. People want to do their best when they're with you. Yeah. Let's look at the mystery card. Water. Chariot. Yep, that's water. This spell and this spell. Because Cancer, this is the water sign, right? You know that. You're a water sign. So this is the water. This is that Cancer energy that's like, you know you're sensitive. You know that you're prone to frustration. You know that you can let the shadow get to you. You can let the criticism get to you. You know that sometimes you can be harsh to yourself and unkind to yourself. Right now is a time of kind of fortifying yourself, praising yourself, building yourself up, building up your self-esteem, building up your confidence and your motivation. This is also a card of making progress, for sure. Okay. And this is the card of sort of making everybody feel included. To me, it almost feels like we're taking in our flock and we're saying, look, we're all in this together. You know what I mean? It's kind of like you're getting all your kids together. You're just doing a big family hug. Or it's like all the football players, they're just going there. We're all going to just gather around. Everybody bring it in close. You know, the coach is just like, yeah, everybody come in here. Come on, everybody, you know, take a knee, grab a shoulder. Let's all hug, you know. And I think that's kind of what we need right now. We need that healing protection of ourselves and of our energy. And like, I think that this is really perfect. And it's your superpower card, so I think that this message has a very special resonance for Cancers. Whether it's your sun, moon, rising, your Venus, your Mercury, I don't care what sign it is for you. If you're watching the video, okay, we got the Cancer card in the Cancer reading. This video is meant for you if you're watching it. And I think that this is gentle progress. This is discipline and self-control, yeah, but it's kind of a quiet strength, you know. And I think sometimes Cancers, you're underestimated, you know. I think there is a tendency toward frustration, but this is that quiet, steady, gentle strength that's making progress. It's not that fierce, loud, obnoxious, abrasive, you know, demanding kind of energy. That isn't going to make very much progress anywhere, or it will in the short term, but it doesn't have the longevity. This Chariot is going to be, how do you, like, you're driving a car. You know, do you want your car to last 500,000 miles? Or do you want it to break down when it hits like 50,000 miles? What would you prefer, right? So if you treat your car with kindness, because you want it to last your entire life, I don't want to buy another car. So I'm going to treat it very gently. And it's going to take me 500,000 miles. Can you believe it? I had a Honda. And it wasn't I got my Honda up to 400,000 miles. It was an old, like 2001 Honda. And I had an 89 Honda too that got pretty high up there too. So you can get more miles out of your team by being gentle with it. Otherwise, you treat your car rough and you may get 50,000 miles, good miles, yeah, but then it breaks down. So that gentle energy is going to take you further than the destructive, criticizing, punishment kind of energy, that's not going to take you as far. Anyway, we're going to do an extended reading. If you want to stick around, we'll do an I Ching hexagram. We'll do some oracle cards. There's a link in the corner. There's a link down below. New readings for Cancer, Wednesdays and Sundays. Be sure to watch both readings. Subscribe to the channel, please, if you haven't yet. Leave a comment and let me know where in the world you are watching from, or just say hi. I want you to know that you're the most important part of Dove and Serpent Tarot. I thank you and I love you, and we are all in this together.